This video is to explain the proper use and technique when using a line trimmer. All crews should have their safety vests on at all times that is provided, as well as your safety glasses and earplugs. For this demonstration, I will not have the earplugs in, just so I can hear a little bit better and explain on the video. I'm going to grab the line trimmer here. Once again, to start it up, raise the choke, pull on the string, and you're good to go once it's started. Proper technique here for the line trimming is going to be on a 90-degree angle. You're going to take the weed whacker and place it here along the sidewalk in the grass, and it should be at a 90-degree angle as seen here. It should not be like this here on a 45, but a clean cut here. Once you have the weed whacker in the place it needs to be, and you're going, as I will show you an example later with the weed whacker running, you're going to hold the weed whacker as standard in set place as it is here, and walk with it down the line like this here. Once you're completed with the end here, all the way down at the end, you'd come back this way here, same process, and walk with the weed whacker like this here. This video is to show you the proper way to load and unload the line trimmer string. First, you want to take these buttons here on the side, push them in. There's two of them. Pop the top off here. Make sure the spring is inside here. I'm going to put this down. The string itself should be pulled out at the truck in approximately 3.5 to 4 arms length. We've got a smaller piece of string here just for the example. You want to take the string here and put it in the slot right here. There's a groove notch, and on top of here there's an arrow that says wind string this way. So I want to stick it in between the notch, right over the way this is here, split, so it's split here evenly, and it's going to go across these two open areas, and you're going to twist it as you put your finger and your thumb over it here. You want to make sure not to put it in there too tightly because it'll pinch, and the line trimmer will actually melt the line when it's trying to let it out if it pinches too tight. So you want to make sure this is in there snug but not too tight, and then you're just going to continue to wrap it around like this here. You're going to grab your longer piece of string, stick it in this notch. As you can see here, it's a little notch, and you're going to stick the other one in the notch here. So you have a notch right here that holds the string and a notch right here, so there's two of them. And you're going to grab your bump plate where the eyelets are here. You're going to place this inside the cap and carefully remove the string from the notch that you stuck it in here. And then you're going to do it for the other side, remove it and stick it in the eyelet. Right now your string head with the bump plate is completely together. You're going to want to grab your weed whacker and place it on here where these metal eyelets line up with the holes here, and make sure you have a spring in there. You just place it right on there, let it snap into place. You can hear it, and just double check here and here where it pushes. Make sure these are locked into place, and you should be good to go. A tip to save some time would also be make sure each crew has at least one extra spool cap. Make sure that you, in between jobs as you're driving around, have a full spool cap waiting, so if you do run off in the middle of the job, you have enough line trimmer in a spool cap to replace it immediately and keep on moving, so you're not wasting 5 to 6 minutes on the job site and you're doing it while you're driving in the dead time. Videos to explain proper weed whacking technique with the Red Max line trimmer that we use on our trucks. Some trucks may have a different version of this weed whacker, but the standard process is all the same. Once again, make sure you have all your standard safety equipment on, such as your safety glasses and earplugs. I will not be wearing those for this demonstration, as well as your reflective vest that's provided with you your first day of work for OSHA regulations. Proper way to hold the weed whacker when doing sidewalks such as these is we want to have them on a 90-degree angle, not a 45. You want to take the weed whacker and place it in your elbow here. Once you have it lined up where you want it, so for instance, if we're like this here, and we have the weed whacker on a 90-degree angle, your elbow should be tucked right in like this here. Get your hand on the handle holding the same exact position as you walk down the sidewalk. This way the height and the angle of the weed whacker will be standard throughout the whole process, and you'll be able to move pretty quickly. Once I fire this up, I'll show you how it's done. But this would be the process here. So you start here with the weed whacker in place as it's running, throttle about halfway, and you'd walk down all the way down the whole entire sidewalk area. Once you reach the end, you'd come back to this side here. Once again, place it on the shaft at a 45, the head's at a 90-degree angle, and you're going to cut all the way down and walk just like this at about a 3/4 to half throttle manner. So if you watch real quick, I'm going to start this up and show you how it's done. To let more string out, simply throttle the throttle and tap the head on the pavement. As you can hear the proper height and length of the line when it's a high-pitched noise. It lets you know you've got the right amount of string out, as well as the distance from the sidewalk here to the top of the head. So once again, we're going to take it, we're going to place the weed whacker up against the elbow, lock it in so your frame is in the set position, and you're going to continue that position and height all the way down the sidewalk and back up, and this is how it's done. Notice I'm letting out a little more string because we're low. Once again, after we're done with this side, we're going to come back and take care of this side. That would be the proper technique for taking care of a sidewalk or any area you wanted a 90-degree angle. As you can see here, everything's cut straight into 90 with the line trimmer. So make sure the key point to take away from this is to start with the weed whacker in a locked position with your frame set. Once you have the weed whacker set against the sidewalk in the position you want, walk straight down in one fluid motion. Once you get to the end, come back in one fluid motion. It's important when you first get to a property here, as I'm walking over to the corner of the property, first pull up to the far point of the lawn. You're always going to start here, come up the gutter, up the driveway, down one side of the sidewalk, up the other side of the sidewalk, up the driveway, around the whole entire house and the landscape beds, and then come back down the driveway, down one side of the sidewalk, come back across the other side of the sidewalk, back down the driveway, and down the gutter. By doing this, it's going to be a very streamlined process and you're not going to miss anything. After you're done with edging around the sidewalk and the driveway and the house, and you end up at the far point, walk across all the way into the backyard and come across the back of the property to make sure you don't miss anything, such as landscape beds, fence lines, or anything else that may be in the yard. By doing this process in a larger yard, if the gentleman is mowing is done before you're done edging, they know exactly where you're finishing and they could start at the end and meet you wherever you end up. This way the process is streamlined. The person running on the mower knows where you're starting and stopping, and it also prevents missing spots randomly if you're jumping back and forth. While you're doing this process, if you have something like a mailbox or a fire hydrant or any other obstacle right next to the sidewalk in that, feel free to grab that as you're next to it to save some time. But initially, until you have the system down, just follow the set procedure of going the gutter, driveway, one side of the sidewalk, the next side of the sidewalk, the driveway, around the whole entire house, and then coming back down the driveway, sidewalk, other side of the sidewalk, driveway, and then the gutter. Right here I'll demonstrate the proper streamline technique. Notice right here there's an area approximately like a triangle that the mower would not be able to get into. You want to make sure you weed whack this triangle out so the mower can come through in one fluid motion and keep on going. You can see in this example, this is how I'll do it. Side to side right in this area. Then continue down around the house. Notice as I come around the house, there is some objects in the lawn. At this point, the gentleman weed whacking would want to move these out of the way of the mower so he does not have to get off the mower. If there's anything in the grass areas at all times, make sure as you're coming around weed whacking, you're moving those objects, or if you're on the mower and you get to them first, move them and make sure they're cut underneath and not just cut around. Right here we are going to grab this bucket, put it in the landscape bed as well as a child's slide here. We want to move this out of the way. As I'm doing this, you can also see that I've also locked my elbow in place again, but instead of the 90-degree angle such as the sidewalks, I'm doing it the same height as the lawnmower. So I've got it locked in and I'm walking with the weed whacker at the same height to maintain the same quality and standard height throughout the weed whacking. So I'm going to continue around the rest of the house, and then I'm going to come around the front and then back down the driveway, both sides of the sidewalk, and then onto the gutter, and everything will be complete around the sidewalks, house, and driveway. Notice this bush here, I'm making sure I get underneath it. So I need the grass growing underneath is edged on a weekly basis and not missed. Now once we're done with all around the house, sidewalks and driveways, we're going to continue on, walk all the way back up the property line and edge all the way around the back in one fluid motion, hitting the fence lines and anything else in the yard, as will be seen in the rest of the video here to come. Alright, as I've walked across the back of the property line, I'm going to start here on the near side and work my way down the fence line and then back up the other side of the fence line, making sure when I hit in the corner of the fence line like this here that I cut out a triangle so the mower can come in and cut without missing a spot against the corner where the two fences come together. This is really important to make sure the mower can continue at the pace it's going at and we don't miss any quality spots along the way. So right now, I'm going to grab the weed whacker, continue walking down the property line and start the fence line and work my way around the backyard. Back to where we started where the truck is. At that point, you're going to grab a blower if the other gentleman's done mowing. And we're going to blow off the gutter, the sidewalk and driveway and around the house. And I'll show you that process in our next video. Notice right here in the where the two fence lines meet, I'm going to cut this triangle out here just so the mower can come in, continue on its way, and I'm going to finish the fence line and anything else in the backyard such as poles, trees, or landscape beds that may be in the backyard. When weed whacking around poles such as this one here, we want to make sure the height of the weed whacker is the same height as the mowing deck, and you want to weed whack And very smooth, even back-to-back motions with the weed whacker as shown here. I'm going to take the weed whacker side to side while it's once again locked into my elbow at the set height. One hand here, so your frame is solid every time you're using the weed whacker to maintain a quality standard height. That's how it's done around any object. Just make sure the height of the weed whacking is the same height as the mowing that you got for that point of the season.